In the quiet corners of a sunlit suburban home where memories clung to every faded photograph and worn piece of furniture lived Elizabeth, a grandmother whose heart had always been as vast as the ocean, her hands wrinkled from years of selfless giving, her eyes carrying the weight of unspoken sacrifices. She had poured her soul into raising her grandson Alexander after his parents' tragic accident, taking him in at just 5 years old, nurturing him through scraped knees and broken dreams, funding his education, his first car, his every ambition with the savings she had meticulously built over a lifetime of quiet toil. Now in her 70s, she found joy in the simple rhythm of life, tending her garden, watching birds flit among the roses. But her true happiness came from seeing Alexander thrive, or so she thought when he met Sophia, a bright, ambitious woman with a smile that could light up rooms. Elizabeth welcomed her with open arms, treating her like the daughter she never had. She helped them furnish their first apartment, picking out couches and tables with care, paid their rent during lean months, bought groceries when jobs were scarce, and even gifted them lavish presents for birthdays and holidays. Over the years, the total climbed silently in her ledger, over $50,000 withdrawn from her retirement fund, each transfer a thread binding her to their lives, a silent promise of unwavering love. Yet beneath the surface, cracks began to form. Sophia would call only when bills loomed large. Alexander's visits grew shorter, his hugs cooler, but Elizabeth brushed it aside, convincing herself that love meant giving without expectation, that family was about sacrifice. Then came the whisper of wedding plans. Elizabeth's heart soared, imagining the day she would see her grandson in a tuxedo, Sophia in white, perhaps even walking him down the aisle in place of his lost parents. She offered to help finance the dress, the venue, the flowers, pouring another few thousand into what she believed would be a shared celebration. But weeks turned to months, and invitations never arrived. Queries were met with vague assurances. It's going to be small, grandma, just intimate family, don't worry, we'll celebrate later. Then one evening, scrolling through social media on her old tablet, Elizabeth stumbled upon the truth photos of a lavish beach wedding, turquoise waves crashing in the background, Sophia radiant in a gown that looked expensive, her family toasting with champagne flutes, Alexander beaming, surrounded by Sophia's siblings, cousins, aunts, and uncles, but no sign of Elizabeth, not in a single frame. The caption read, "The perfect day, with our special people." Her breath caught in her throat. Special people, the words echoed like a slap. She who had given everything was not special enough. Tears blurred the screen as she scrolled through image after image, laughter frozen in time, joy. She was excluded from that night, sleep evaded her. She paced the creaky floors of her home, memories flooding back of Alexander's childhood, how she had skipped vacations to save for his college, how she had eaten simple meals to afford his comforts, how she had been both mother and father, grandmother and provider, only to be deemed unworthy of witnessing his happiest moment. The pain twisted deeper than any physical ache, a betrayal that cut to the core of her being. Days blurred into a haze of hurt. She avoided their calls, deleted messages without reading, but inevitability struck. A week later, Sophia's voice on the phone, sweet as honey, but laced with urgency. "Grandma, we need help. The car payment is due, and the landlord is threatening eviction. You always transfer the money, remember?" Elizabeth paused, her hand trembling on the receiver, the same hand that had signed countless checks for them. "Sophia, I think it's time you handled your own affairs." The silence on the other end stretched like a chasm. "What do you mean, Grandma? We're family. You've always helped us." Family, Elizabeth whispered the word, tasting bitter on her tongue. Family invites each other to weddings. Family doesn't hide milestones behind lies. Family sees each other as more than a wallet. Sophia stammered excuses. "It was last minute, we didn't want to burden you." But Elizabeth cut her off. "No more. I only help special people." The phrase hung in the air, a mirror to their own cruelty. Sophia pleaded, "We can fix this, come over, we'll talk." But Elizabeth hung up the phone, her resolve hardening like steel forged in fire. For the first time in decades, she felt a spark of self-worth igniting within her. The following morning, she rose with purpose-brewed coffee in her sun-dappled kitchen and sat at the table where she had tallied their expenses for years, $50,000. She murmured to herself, rent, food, gifts, emergencies, all documented in neat rose numbers that represented pieces of her life given away freely. Now she saw them for what they were, chains binding her to ingratitude. She drove to the bank, her steps steady. "Mr. Harrington," the manager greeted her with familiarity. "Mrs. Elizabeth, you here for the usual Transfer, no, she replied firmly. I'm here to cancel all automatic payments and secure my accounts. He raised an eyebrow but complied. As she signed the papers, her phone buzzed relentlessly, Alexander's name flashing like a warning. She ignored it, feeling lighter with each ignored call. By afternoon, her accounts were hers alone. No more leaks, no more drains, just security and solitude. Returning home, she found her front door ajar. Her heart raced as she pushed it open. Inside, Alexander, Sophia, and a stern-looking man in a suit rifled through her drawers, papers scattered across the table. What is this? Elizabeth demanded, her voice steady despite the intrusion. Grandma, Alexander said, rising with feigned concern. We're worried about you. Your behavior is erratic, cutting us off like this. Mr. Langley here is a lawyer. He can help. We think you need guidance. Guidance, Elizabeth echoed. Or control them. Lawyer extended a hand. Mrs. Elizabeth, your family believes you're showing signs of diminished capacity. We've prepared documents for power of attorney to manage your affairs efficiently. She laughed, to sound sharp and unyielding. You mean to seize my money after excluding me from your wedding, after living off my generosity for years now? I'm suddenly incompetent. Get out, all of you. They hesitated, Sophia tearing up. Grandma, please, we're doing this for your own good. But Elizabeth pointed to the door, her finger unwavering out, or I'll call the police. They left, muttering threats. This isn't over, Grandma. You'll regret this. Alone in the silence, Elizabeth sank into her chair, adrenaline fading into exhaustion. But beneath it, a fire burned. She wouldn't let them strip her of her autonomy, her dignity. That night, she researched elder abuse, contacted a lawyer of her own, M.S. Thompson, a sharp-minded advocate who specialized in protecting seniors from familial exploitation. Mrs. Elizabeth, M.S. Thompson said, reviewing her records, this is textbook financial abuse. Well, document everything, build a case to protect you. They spent hours poring over bank statements, emails, voicemails, piecing together the pattern of dependency and disregard. Elizabeth felt seen, validated for the first time in years. Meanwhile, Alexander and Sophia escalated. Calls turned to visits, banging on doors demanding entry. We know you're in there, Grandma, open up or we'll have to take legal action. Elizabeth watched from behind curtains, her new security camera capturing every moment. Evidence, M.S. Thompson advised, keep logging it all, it strengthens our position. Then came the social worker, a kind-faced woman named M.S. Rivera, sent after an anonymous tip about an at-risk elder. Elizabeth welcomed her and offered tea, and with M.S. Thompson present, laid out the truth. M.S. Rivera listened, nodded, reviewed the documents. I see no signs of incapacity here, Mrs. Elizabeth. In fact, you seem remarkably sharp. This appears to be a family dispute driven by other motives. After she left, Elizabeth breathed relief. But the battle loomed larger. Weeks later, the summons arrived. Alexander and Sophia had filed for guardianship, claiming mental incompetence, citing her sudden financial cutoff as irrational behavior, her isolation as paranoia, her new friendships as manipulation. Elizabeth's hand shook as she read it, but M.S. Thompson reassured her, we have counter evidence, medical evaluations, witness statements. We'll fight this in court. The days leading to the trial were a whirlwind. Elizabeth underwent psychiatric assessments, scoring perfectly, proving her cognition intact. She gathered testimonials from neighbors, friends, the bank manager, all attesting to her soundness. Meanwhile, she discovered Sophia had tricked the pharmacist into signing a misleading statement about medication habits, and a disgruntled neighbor had been coaxed into claiming erratic behavior, lies woven into a web of deceit. On trial day, Elizabeth, dressed in her finest suit, walked into the courthouse, chin high, M.S. Thompson by her side across the room. Alexander and Sophia avoided her gaze. Their lawyer-slick and confident opening statements painted Elizabeth as a frail, confused woman victimized by her own delusions. But M.S. Thompson dismantled it piece by piece, calling witnesses, exposing the financial trail, the wedding exclusion, the manipulative tactics. When Elizabeth took the stand, her voice rang clear. Why did I stop the money? Because I realized I was buying affection. That wasn't real. I gave everything only to be cast aside on their happiest day. I deserve better. The cross-examination tried to trip her, but she stood firm, unflinching. In the end, the judge ruled in her favor. No evidence of incompetence. Petition denied. Elizabeth walked out free, tears of victory streaming down her face. She cut all ties, donated to elder protection causes, traveled, painted, lived fully. Alexander and Sophia faded into lessons learned, their greed a shadow she left behind in her new life under starlit skies. Elizabeth whispered to herself, I am enough. And for the first time, She believed it her heart once burdened now soared unbound by chains of false love, embracing the beauty of self-discovered freedom, the golden hues of dawn filtered through the lace curtains of her modest bungalow, casting long shadows across the hardwood floors that bore the marks of decades. Elizabeth stirred from a restless sleep, her silver hair framing a face etched with lines of quiet endurance, each wrinkle a testament to the joys and sorrows she had woven into the fabric of her existence. At 72, she rose with a familiar ache in her joints, a reminder of the years spent bending to the needs of others. But this morning, like so many lately, carried a weight heavier than physical frailty. It was the burden of unspoken betrayal that pressed upon her chest, making every breath a deliberate act of while she padded to the kitchen, her slippers whispering against the floor, the same kitchen where she had prepared countless meals for her grandson Alexander from his toddler days of mashed peas to his teenage cravings for homemade lasagna. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air as she poured a cup, her hands steady despite the turmoil within. Sitting at the scarred oak table, she gazed out the window at her garden, a riot of roses and lavender that she tended with loving care. It was her sanctuary, a place where she could lose herself in the soil, forgetting for a moment the emptiness that had crept into her life since Alexander had grown distant. Elizabeth's thoughts drifted back to the day she had taken him in a wide-eyed 5-year-old clutching a stuffed bear, his parents taken too soon in a car accident that shattered their world. She, a recent widow herself, had opened her arms and home without hesitation, becoming mother, father, grandmother, all in one, sacrificing her own dreams to nurture his. She worked extra shifts at the library, skipped vacations, scrimped on luxuries to ensure he had the best school's clothes. Opportunities, money was tight, but love was abundant, or so she believed. As Alexander grew into a handsome young man with dreams of his own, Elizabeth's pride swelled. She funded his college tuition, celebrated his graduation with a lavish dinner, even when it meant dipping into her meager retirement savings. Then came Sophia, a vibrant woman with cascading auburn hair and a laugh that echoed like wind chimes. Alexander was smitten, and Elizabeth welcomed her with open arms, treating her like the daughter fate had denied her. She helped them set up their first apartment, choosing furniture that was both practical and pretty, paid the deposit when their jobs were unsteady, covered rent during lean months, like when Alexander switched careers or Sophia pursued her art. The gifts flowed endlessly, a new blender for their kitchen, designer clothes for special occasions, even a weekend getaway to rekindle their romance. Over the years, the amounts added up: $50,000 withdrawn from her savings, each transfer a silent affirmation of her devotion. But lately the calls came more frequently. Grandma, the car's acting up. Can you help with the repair? Sophia would say, her voice honeyed with need. Or Alexander pleading, the rent's due and we're short this month. You know how it is. Elizabeth always obliged, convincing herself that this was what family did, that her role was to provide, to smooth the path for the one she loved. Yet the reciprocation grew scarce. Visits were brief, hugs, perfunctory conversations centered on their needs rather than shared stories. The wedding whispers began months ago. Elizabeth's heart leaped at the news, imagining the ceremony, the vows, the dance under twinkling lights. She offered to contribute to the dress, perhaps even host a rehearsal dinner. Her mind buzzing with plans, she transferred funds for Sophia's gown, a beautiful lace creation that cost more than Elizabeth's monthly pension. But invitations never materialized. Queries were met with evasion. It's going to be small, Grandma, just us and a few close ones. Don't worry, we'll have a big party later, Sophia assured, her voice light as air. Then one fateful evening, as Elizabeth scrolled through social media on her outdated tablet, her world cracked open. Photos flooded her screen, a sun-kissed beach, turquoise waves lapping at white sand. Sophia radiant in that very gown, her family clustered around, toasting with champagne. Alexander grinning ear to ear, surrounded by Sophia's parents, siblings, cousins, a lavish affair with floral arches and string lights. The caption pierced her soul, the perfect day with our special people, special people. The words reverberated in her mind, a dagger twisting deep. She, who had given everything, was not deemed special. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she clicked through image after image, laughter frozen in pixels. Joy she was barred from experiencing. The exclusion wasn't just an oversight, it was deliberate, a statement that her presence, her love, her sacrifices were peripheral at best. That night sleep eluded her. She paced the dim living room, clutching a photo of young Alexander, his gap-toothed smile a stark contrast to the man who had sidelined her memories, assaulted her the sleepless nights, nursing him through fevers. The proud Moments at his school plays the quiet evenings reading stories by lamplight, all for what to be erased from his milestones. The pain was visceral, a mother's grief amplified by years of unreciprocated devotion. Dawn brought no relief, but a simmering resolve. She ignored their calls, deleted texts, without reading, steeling herself for the inevitable. A week later, the phone rang, Sophia's number flashing like a warning. Elizabeth answered, her voice calm. Grandma Sophia gushed, we're in a bind, the landlord's pressing for rent, and the car's payment is overdue. You forgot the transfers, didn't you? Elizabeth paused, letting the silence stretch, recalling every rushed trip to the bank, every foregone pleasure to fund their whims. Sophia, I warned you, I only help special people. The line went quiet, Sophia's confidence crumbling. What do you mean, Grandma? We're family. You've always been there for us. Family, Elizabeth echoed the word laced with bitterness. Family doesn't exclude each other from lives. Joy's family doesn't treat love like a transaction. Sophia stammered, please, it was a mistake. We can make it up to you. Come over, we'll celebrate. But Elizabeth hung up the receiver, clicking into place like a finality. For the first time, she felt not trembling, but empowered. The next morning, she dressed with purpose, drove to the bank where Mr. Harrington greeted her warmly. Mrs. Elizabeth, the usual no, she said firmly. Cancel all transfers, secure my accounts. He nodded, processing the changes as her phone vibrated incessantly. Alexander's desperate messages piling up. Mom, please, we need to talk. She deleted them, sipping coffee in the bank's lounge, feeling the weight lift. Returning home, she found the door ajar, voices inside her. Pulse quickened as she entered. Alexander, Sophia, and a suited man rummaging through her papers. What is this? She demanded. Alexander rose, head bowed. Grandma, we're worried. You're not yourself, cutting us off like this. Mr. Langley is a lawyer. He can help with your affairs. Help or control? Elizabeth shot back. The lawyer smiled thinly. Mrs. Elizabeth, your family believes you're showing signs of decline. We have documents for power of attorney to manage things smoothly. She laughed coldly. You mean seize my money after shutting me out of your wedding, after draining me dry? Get out. They hesitated. Sophia, tearing up, please, Grandma, we're doing this for you. But Elizabeth stood firm. Out or the police. They left whispering threats. This isn't over. Alone, she collapsed into a chair, but resolve bloomed. She contacted MS Thompson, a fierce lawyer specializing in elder rights. Together, they documented everything: transfers, emails, the wedding photos, building a fortress of evidence. Meanwhile, the harassment escalated. Drives by her house, pounding on doors. We know you're in there. Open up. Elizabeth captured it all on her new camera system. Evidence mounting. Then the social worker arrived. MS Rivera, concerned by a tip Elizabeth invited her and shared tea and truth with MS Thompson present. MS Rivera reviewed, nodded. I see no issues here. This seems motivated by greed, not care. After she left, the summons came. Guardianship petition claiming incompetence. Her changes, paranoia, her cutoff, irrational. Elizabeth's heart ached, but MS Thompson assured, we fight with facts, medical exams, witnesses. The trial loomed. She aced evaluations, gathered support from friends, neighbors. The pharmacist tricked into a false statement. The grumpy neighbor coaxed into lies. On the day she stood tall in court, their lawyer painted her frail, but MS Thompson unveiled the truth. Witnesses exposed manipulations. When Elizabeth testified, her voice rang. I stopped because I was buying illusions, not love. The judge ruled in favor. Petition denied. Freedom won. She cut ties, donated, traveled, painted, lived. Alexander, Sophia learned hardship, perhaps value, as Elizabeth under stars whispered, I am whole. Her spirit unbound, soaring into possibility in the fading light of a late afternoon sun, casting golden rays through the lace curtains of her cozy bungalow. Elizabeth sat in her favorite armchair, the one with the worn floral pattern that had cradled her through countless evenings of reflection. Her silver hair caught the light like threads of moonbeam. Her eyes, deep pools of blue, held the weight of 72 years of living, loving, losing. She gazed at the photograph on the mantel, a young boy with tousled hair and a gap-toothed grin. Her grandson, Alexander, the child she had raised as her own after the tragic car accident that stole his parents from him. She remembered that day as if it were yesterday. The phone call, the numb shock, the tiny hand slipping into hers as she promised to be his everything: mother, father, grandmother, provider. In the quiet of her home, the clock ticked softly, a reminder that time moved on even when hearts stood still. Elizabeth's life had been one of quiet sacrifice, working long hours at the local library, shelving books that transported others to faraway lands while She stayed grounded in reality, saving every penny for Alexander's future. No vacations, no luxuries, just the joy of seeing him thrive, or so she thought. As he grew into a tall, handsome man with dreams of his own, she beamed with pride, funding his college tuition, celebrating his milestones with gifts that stretched her budget. Then came Sophia, with her vibrant energy, auburn curls bouncing as she laughed a sound like tinkling bells. Alexander was captivated, and Elizabeth opened her arms wide, treating Sophia like the daughter fate had denied her. She helped them set up their first apartment, picking out the soft blue sofa, the oak dining table, the little things that make a house a home when jobs were scarce. She covered the rent-slipping bills under the mat of her own frugality. When groceries ran low, she filled their fridge with fresh fruits, vegetables, homemade pies. The amounts added up over the years: rent payments of $500 a month, groceries, 200 more gifts for birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, thousands poured out from her retirement savings, $50,000 in total, a fortune for a widow on a fixed income. But to Elizabeth, it was love made tangible, a way to ensure their happiness, even if it meant beans and toast for her dinners. The calls came regularly: Grandma, the car's in the shop. Can you spot us the repairs? Sophia's voice sweet as pie. Or Alexander saying the rent's due, we're a bit short this month, you know how much we appreciate you. And she always did, convincing herself that this was family, that giving was her role, her joy. Yet the visits grew shorter, the hugs quicker, the conversations centered on needs rather than shared stories. Elizabeth pushed the doubt away, focusing on the rare moments of warmth, like when Sophia called her second mom, or Alexander sent a text saying, thanks Grandma, you're the best. Then the wedding whispers started, Sophia glowing as she showed Elizabeth fabric swatches for the dress. Elizabeth's heart soared, imagining the day, the vows, the toasts, the dance, perhaps even walking Alexander down the aisle. She offered to help transferring funds for the gown, a lace masterpiece that cost more than her monthly pension. Planning in her mind the flowers, the venue, the joy of being part of it all. But months passed, and no invitation arrived. Her questions met with vague smiles. It's going to be small, Grandma, just intimate, don't worry. We'll have a party later. Sophia set her eyes, avoiding Elizabeth's. Then one evening, alone with her tablet, Elizabeth scrolled social media, her finger pausing on a post that shattered her world. Photos of a beach, wedding waves crashing in turquoise splendor, Sophia radiant in the gown Elizabeth had helped finance, her family posing proudly, toasts with champagne, Alexander beaming, surrounded by Sophia's relatives. But no Elizabeth, not in one frame. The caption, the perfect day with our special people. Special people, the words struck like lightning, burning through her soul. She, who had given everything, was not special. Tears blurred the screen as she scrolled, laughter, joy, exclusion. The pain was raw, a betrayal that echoed through her being. That night, she paced the floors, memories flooding the sleepless nights, rocking Alexander through fevers, the school plays, where she clapped loudest, the quiet evenings, reading bedtime stories, all for this to be sidelined on his happiest day. Dawn brought clarity, a simmering anger at the ingratitude she ignored there. Calls, deleted texts, stealing for the storm. A week later, Sophia's call came, her voice pleading, Grandma, the rent's overdue, the landlord's threatening you, forgot the transfer, right? Elizabeth paused, her heart pounding. Sophia, I only help special people. The silence was deafening. What do you mean, Grandma? We're family, you've always been there. Sophia stammered, but Elizabeth held firm. Family invites each other to milestones. Family doesn't hide joy behind lies. No more. The phone clicked off, her hands shaking, but her spirit awakening. The next morning, she brewed coffee, sat at the table tallying the ledger, $50,000 rent, food, gifts, emergencies, numbers that represented pieces of her life, given freely, now seen as change. She drove to the bank, Mr. Harrington greeting her. Mrs. Elizabeth, the usual no, cancel all transfers, secure my accounts. He complied as her phone buzzed. Alexander's messages, Mom, please answer, we need to talk. She deleted them. Feeling lighter, returning home, the door ajar, voices inside her pulse raced as she entered Alexander. Sophia, a suited man, rifling papers. What is this? She demanded. Alexander rose. Grandma, we're worried you're not yourself. This cutoff is erratic. Mr. Langley is a lawyer. He can help with your affairs. Help or control? The lawyer extended a hand. Mrs. Elizabeth, your family thinks you're declining. We have power of attorney documents to manage things. She laughed. You mean seize my money after excluding me from The wedding after living off me get out they hesitated Sophia, crying please grandma for your good out or police they left muttering threats alone she sank down but resolve grew. She called MS Thompson lawyer for elders documenting transfers, emails, photos, building a case, harassment, escalated drives by pounding doors captured on camera. Then the social worker MS Rivera tipped off Elizabeth shared truth. MS Rivera saw no issues. Greed not care the summons came guardianship, incompetence her cutoff. Paranoia, isolation, manipulation Elizabeth ached, but MS Thompson assured facts will win exams, proved competence, witnesses gathered, pharmacist, tricked neighbor, coaxed lies, exposed trial day. She stood tall their lawyer, painted her frail MS Thompson unveiled truth. When she testified, I stopped buying illusions, not love judge ruled denied freedom. When she cut ties, donated, traveled, painted lived Alexander Sophia, learned hardship. Elizabeth under stars whispered I am free spirit soaring. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Liberty Legends for more. Hit that like button to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.